Thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi. On this Monday morning, we've actually got some sunshine today, as opposed to yesterday. Of course, we had all that cloud cover. We only topped out at 70 degrees yesterday. It was our coolest day in over a month. Yesterday, about close to 20 degrees below our seasonal average yesterday as well. But if you're looking for some warmer weather, you're going to get a bit more of a typical summer-like forecast this week. There is the chance for some stronger storms this afternoon and for tomorrow as well, but then that chance for severe weather calms on down significantly by Wednesday and Thursday. So let's take a look outside, and we've got a little bit of cloud cover overhead. In fact, a fair bit of that starting to bubble on up as we speak. And that is thanks to a fair bit in the way of some low-level moisture that is still in play. It still probably feels a little bit muggy, at least by Colorado standards out there this morning. And that's what's probably going to give way to some of those showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon and this evening. Now, for the Denver area, we do have a chance, a small chance, a level 1 risk on a 0 to 5 scale in terms of that potential for severe weather in the metro area. But you get east, Fort Morgan, Lyman on east. That's where you have a higher risk at seeing some stronger storms. And the main risk, as usual, it will be large hail, but there's also the chance for some damaging winds. Could see some of those winds up to 70 miles an hour and golf ball sized hail possible, mainly on the eastern plains. But for us here in the metro area, still a small chance we could see some of those storms. I don't think we're talking about golf ball sized hail here in the metro area, but there's still the chance for maybe some marginal severe hail up to about the size of a quarter with some of those strongest cells. But again, most of you will not see that today. I'd say maybe 10-15% of you will see something like that today. So severe storms possible east, strong winds, hail are main concerns. And then for the middle of the week, it does dry on out. But in terms of that risk for storms today, again, it will be elevated today. Between about 2 and 6 p.m., we'll see some of those storms develop and push the way off to the eastern plains. And by about 6-7 o'clock, we're much calmer across most of the state. 1 or 2 storms left over between about 6 and 9 p.m. And then by overnight tonight, it's much calmer tonight compared to last night. I know we had some pretty strong storms out into Elbert and El Paso counties on the Palmer Divide as late as about midnight last night. But tonight, it looks like we got much lower odds at seeing some of those overnight storms for us. But for this afternoon, still 1 or 2 storms around the metro area around 4 or 5 o'clock. Then those will push their way off to the east and then the eastern plains, dealing with those storms after about 4 o'clock or so. And then things really calm on down for tonight. Temperatures 70s and 80s eastern plains, 50s, 60s into the high country. Ooh, that looks refreshing on up into Kremling, 55 degrees right now. Denver, by the way, this morning we did drop down to about 56 degrees for us. Not unusually cool, but certainly a bit cooler than what you might expect here for the middle of summer. And, well, probably our coolest day for some time. Now, dew points, I always mention this. If you're kind of a little, you're interested in weather, you like Weather 101 sort of thing, this is the number that really matters. This is, to me, one of the first numbers I look at when I'm determining a forecast, is looking at dew points, because that's for us here on the eastern plains and for us here in the high desert, that's a real telltale sign of just how much moisture we have to work with. And for us here in Colorado, usually our main lacking ingredient for storms is moisture. It's, of course, again, I mentioned we're basically in the high desert here, folks. So as a result of that, we often don't have moisture in play. And when we get those dew points into the 50s, it tells us we got a fair bit of moisture in play. 60s, that's when we're really cooking in terms of those moisture values. And here, again, some marginal moisture in play for us for this afternoon and this evening, and that will help fuel some of those showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon. So for today, we'll get up into the low 80s compared to yesterday. It'll feel a lot warmer, certainly. Storms between about 2 and 6 p.m. in the metro area. Maybe 1 or 2 of those hang out a little bit later than that on the eastern plains. Most of us should be done with the action by about 6 o'clock or so, and those clouds increase as we head through the day. Showers, storms out east for tonight. Temperatures drop back into the mid-50s for us. Sunset 8:05, and hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we've got our last 8 p.m. or later sunset of the year coming up this week. I believe it is on Friday or Saturday. That's our last 8 p.m. sunset of the year. So if you like those late sunsets, get them while you've got them. For tomorrow, I'm actually, even though right now Denver is not included in a level 1 or level 2 risk, I'm actually a bit more concerned about tomorrow in terms of the risk for severe weather for us here in the metro area. Reason being, we've got a little system that drops on through, and that'll help kick up some more widespread showers and storms for the day tomorrow. So for tomorrow, temperatures a bit warmer. That'll also help on out. And we have some of those late storms around for us tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Temperatures a little bit warmer tomorrow compared to today. In terms of that risk for severe storms, it will be higher in the northeastern plains, but Denver area, I would just keep an eye. The computer models haven't really figured out yet the timing of our storms for tomorrow. So just know for tomorrow, I'm not saying it's going to be an overwhelmingly high risk for severe storms, but I would say that tomorrow looks like the highest risk day out of this week in terms of that potential for severe weather. That could include us here in the metro area. The risk will certainly be higher east of town, but again, just some of those ingredients appear to be a bit more in play for tomorrow compared to today in terms of that risk for severe storms. So closer look in, again, metro area, you get to about 4 or 5 o'clock and some of those storms will flare on up, and again, higher risk for large hail damaging winds for tomorrow. Might be a garage day. We'll know a bit more in the morning, but certainly looking at a higher risk tomorrow compared to today in terms of that risk for severe weather. And then once we get past that here, folks, the 7-day forecast, we have those temperatures getting into the 90s for us by Thursday, Friday. Really only talking about isolated storms by the end of the week, and we're probably dry for Wednesday and Thursday. And then Saturday and Sunday, some monsoonal showers and storms return to the forecast, but we're much calmer overall for the rest of the week after tomorrow. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, looking considerably drier compared to today and tomorrow. Now, this is fascinating to me. We will add a little bit to this later on to the week, but we've only hit 90 degrees 17 times so far this year. The 30-year average is about 46 days. And for a bit of context, at this point last year, we'd already hit 90 degrees 44 times. And again, we are at 17 right now. That, by the way, our lowest year-to-date number of 90-degree days since 2009 for us here in Denver. It is also, in terms of average temperature, our coolest summer since 2009, but long-term, we've certainly had many summers like this. It is our only 46th coolest summer to date on record out of 151 years. So point being, it has certainly been a cool, it has certainly been a wet summer for us along the Front Range. Very different story. I know our friends out on the Western Slope saying, what about us? It's certainly been a very different story. Grand Junction, Durango, Western Slope, very slow monsoon season to date. No doubt about that. Not meaning to forget about our friends out on the Western Slope, but for us along the Front Range, it has certainly been a very wet and very cool summer. And that trend mostly continues this week. A bit more of a typical summer-like week this week with temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 80s, low 90s. That's typical for this time of year with some of those isolated showers and storms. We do get a bit warmer as the week wears on. So again, stronger storms possible today and tomorrow. I think tomorrow could end up being a higher risk day compared to today, but still Eastern Plains in particular, you will be dealing with some strong storms for today and tomorrow, no doubt about that. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we really calm on down. More storms for the weekend, warmer temperatures as the week wears on as well. I'll have another update for you coming up at 9 News at noon and at 2 p.m. right here on 9 News Plus. Then we'll have Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin in at 4 and 5, and Meteorologist Danielle Grant is in at 6, 9, 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, I'm 9 News Meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Have a great rest of your Monday.